Hello, it's me from the future, here to warn you about something. So when I did that video, I shot it all on iPhone, shot on iPhone. It's not a commercial. This is a how-to video. But that being said, the microphone may not be the best. So I'm either going to dub over this in post, or I'm going to add little animations and what's the word here? Graphs and charts that'll help kind of explain everything when you can't hear. Or maybe a mixture of both if I'm feeling really trendy. I'm being trendy right now. I have a new shirt. It is Pyramid Country. It is a local brand. So trendy. That looks like the Arizona Coyotes. It's a hockey team. You can tell that. I'm not into sports, but I knew that because I grew up here. But yeah, be ready for that. I have no idea how this video is going to turn out. Hopefully it's good. Probably going to be garbage. But hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you have some fun. With that being said, we'll take you back to the video. Hello skaters of all types, skill levels, and everything in between. Welcome back again to the Skateboarding Made. This is a different episode because today I'm going to be showing you how to make something, an ollie ladder. I don't know if that's what it's called. That's what I'm going to call it. You'll see when it's done. Also, welcome to the living room of my apartment. It's a different space. Isn't that exciting? But just gonna jump right into this. Just for future reference, I'm doing this literally right now off the top of my head, so I have no idea if this is gonna work or not. I'm on my floor. I got my skateboard ready. But let's get into this. So first thing I'm planning to do is make basically kind of like a ladder slash limbo bar-esque thing that I can use to increasingly jump higher and higher with my ollies. So I want something that raises in 4-inch increments on all different pegs of this little ladder that I'm making. So I have two 10 feet of PVC. I don't know, what is this, like 6 elbows and like 22 T-fittings. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these, but I have a lot of T-fittings. And of course, some PVC glue. I think also a PVC cutter. You can use a hacksaw, but this was just at the store and that's what I got. I think for me, I bought everything fresh and that was like maybe like 40 bucks or something. But I mean, if you just already have some PVC lying around or like some glue lying around, I'm sure it'd be like maybe 30 bucks for you or something like that if you're getting all the PVC yourself. But for that being said, to start, I am going to make 2 3-foot segments as my base because I want to be 3 feet high at max because I feel like 3 feet is about what I can jump. So we're going for 3 feet max, and I'll get back to you on that. But first, I need to get a tape measure. Tape measure has been acquired. I've had this tape measure since I was like 10 years old. I'm 22 now. Also, a marker. So, basic plan right now, I'm going to cut 2 3-foot segments of the pipe and use that as my ladder. So that is the first step. So basically, just go ahead and mark out 3 feet on this. All right, we got 3 feet segments cut. That cutter is absolutely terrifying. I would hate to have my fingers between that because they would be gone in a second. Also, I didn't clarify this, but I'm using 3/4 inch PVC because I feel like that's a good medium between it being thick enough to hold up, but also like thin enough that it's not like a huge chonky thing to jump over. So basically what my plan is, I'm going to divide this into 4-inch equal segments and then cut out all those segments. And then I'm going to stitch them with a lot of T-fittings. So I can basically have one pole that can go in each fitting. So it'll make sense as I cut it. So just let me do that and then I'll get right back with you guys. Okay, now I got 4-inch pieces of PVC, approximately a lot of them. And so now my plan right now is to just start putting them together using some T-fittings and glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that going right now. and then we'll see where we're going after that. I think I'm going to make the base after that, but I don't know how wide I want to make it yet. So I'll kind of determine that after I get all this out of the way. An update, my peony boy hands are not made to open these cans, so I need to go get a wrench, and we will continue this after I have acquired a wrench. Alright, we've gotten a wrench, and now that means we can start gluing things together. Alright, so now it's just a simple process of grabbing a T and gluing two of the sections to it. So how it's gonna work: T, part on the top, part on the bottom, and so when this sticks out, I can put my pole, connect to a little T right there on each side, and that's the hope. So let's go ahead and get gluing real quick. Maybe open a window or a door for fumes. I'm gonna go do that so I don't like kill the rest of my brain cells that I have remaining. Alright, there's one side done. I don't know if this is fully in frame because I'm not being really able to check my phone right now, but here's one side done. As you can see, it has the PVC sticking out every 4 inches. Give or take, I think some are a little bit more and some are a little bit less, but it's sticking out around every 4 inches. So I'm just gonna do this with the other cut up section of PVC, and I'll get back to you guys in just a second. Alright, that's 2 of them done. That is the hard part over. And they seem about right. They might be a little bit different in height, but they're pretty close. So that's the hard part done. And now comes the easy stuff. First off, you gotta think about how wide you want it to be. Now as for me, I'm a little guy, so I don't need as much room because basically, you know what you want to think about is if you're skating, it has to be able to go between this and that for when you jump. Because if you're going to be tucked in, you have to be able to get between the poles. I think I'll just measure my side profile and give me like an extra foot or 2, 1.5 feet. Okay, I'm saying about like 2.5 feet, 2.5 feet, 2 feet tucked in. So if I give myself like an extra 1.5 feet, I think 4 feet will be plenty. So 4 feet is right here. That puts this end right here, and that end right there, which gives me absolutely plenty of room. I'm probably gonna do 3.5, honestly. So if I move over a little bit, it's that, and 3.5 is about right, what, there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure 3.5 feet will be plenty for me. Again, this might vary for you, but I'm going to work within a 3.5 foot parameter. So, we need to cut 3.5 pieces. 1 for the crossbar and 2 for the feet, because you're going to do a little box that, you know, the poles go onto on the feet. So let's cut 3.5 pieces. Alright, so we got our 3.5 pieces cut right here. Now, as for me, I have like basically I've got 3.5 feet of scrap. Lovely. Okay, so what I want to do is keep 2 6-inch pieces. I have 1 1/2-inch piece, or sorry, not 1/2 inch, 1/2 foot piece from when I cut my first 3.5 foot scrap from the last little hole. So I'm going to cut 1 extra 6-inch piece, and then I'm going to cut the rest of this extra PVC in half. And I'll explain that in just a second here. Let me cut a 6-inch piece right now. 2 6-inch pieces. And now I'm left with like a 2.5 foot pole or something like that. Yeah, 2.5 feet extra. So what I'm going to do, cut this in half, and then what I can do is use this as the middle of my base for my box. So let me, all right, so now we have our last little pieces of scrap. There's 2 things we're gonna do. First off, grab one of the 3-foots and get 2 elbow pieces, 90 degrees preferably. Well, it's gonna have to be 90 degrees, but get 2 elbow pieces, and we're gonna glue that to the ends. So now you have this, make sure that it's facing out on both ends equally, or as close to equally as you can get it. I do this by putting it on the floor so they're both flat when they're down, and no wobble, so they're good. And then just glue your 2 6-inch pieces here and here so that you can stick them in to the holes, like that. Hopefully that's caught on camera. Again, I don't know what's going on camera right now. Alright, got my little terrible thing made here, so I can just plug into a pole side there, boop, and then a pole side on the other side equally, and that gives me good enough space to ollie over and not have to worry about, hitting the sides. And then for the base, it's a little bit more or less the same. For the base, what we want to do is go ahead and set that aside. Glue 4 corners on each side of that, just like that. And then we're gonna actually use these scraps, but we're going to have to cut them in half and then add 2 T-fittings so that those guys can, go into the base. So start out by gluing 2 elbows on each, just like you did for the crossbar pole, and then get on cutting in half these scraps. So I'll go over that one more time after we kind of do the steps. First steps, elbows. All right, so we got our 2 little base pieces down. So now all we're going to do, take our 2 scraps, cut them in half, and then reconnect them with a T-fitting, because the T-fitting will have an entry that sits up that these guys can connect into. First things first, get the T-fitting going. All right, so we got 2 little T-boys here. So all we gotta do now is connect with the pole facing up, and these guys all in that nice little frame. So basically this part parallel with the floor, hole facing perpendicularly up. All right, and at that point you are basically done. Now you can glue the adjustable poles to the base, but because this is going to be in my apartment, I want it to be collapsible, so I'm going to keep these parts all separate as they are. The last thing you could do is paint it, because obviously it is a little bit ugly, but apart from that, it's all done. I'll go ahead and get some filming of putting it together and using it after I get cleaned up and it becomes light outside again, because it is currently like 12 o'clock at night, maybe later, 12:30. So I will see you when that happens. Another thing I wanted to make was a bit of an ollie flat bar, because while that ladder is a very good thing for progressively getting better, it does have a bit of a big base, which is a bit intimidating for me right now, just where I'm at. So I want to have something that's a lot less clearance in terms of the bottom, but still pretty good height to kind of get me going. I was thinking maybe around 4 inches or so, and so I grabbed another 10-foot piece of PVC, which is going to be more than enough for that, and I also grabbed 4 T-fittings and I believe 2 or 3 elbows. I probably won't actually use all of this because I was thinking about having a support in the middle of the beam, but it seems like PVC is just, sturdy enough that for like 3.5 feet, which is about how long I want to make it, it should be fine enough to hold up on its own. So what I'm going to start is by actually making the base pieces so it's all straight, and then I only have to connect the support beam, and it actually will just stay level. I don't have to worry about making sure anything's perfectly down on the beam like before. So to start, I'm just going to cut 2 4-inch pieces of PVC to act as, the height from the ground. So it's obviously going to be up by about 4 inches. And that'll make sense when I get going on this. So I'm just going to start by cutting 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, just to kind of push a little bit. But I'm going to go cut that really quick. Be back with you in just a minute here, okay? Okay, so this is going to be the height of it. And basically what the plan is to have 2 T-fittings that have the height that sticks out, and then have some feet coming from either end, to hold it up, and then obviously the crossbar that goes across. So I'm gonna cut out like, 4 10-inch pieces just to have some good little length for support. If I want to put a sandbag down, I can do that. So I'm gonna cut 4 10-inch pieces now, and I'm just gonna glue all that together with the little T-fitting. I'll show you that when that's done, okay? Okay, so now I got my 4 little leg pieces. So basically, I got 1 T-fitting, I got the height piece of the pipe, which goes right on top there, and I got 2 leg pieces, which is going to go here and there accordingly, and then that's one end of the base, gonna have another one, and then just the 3.5-foot bar that goes across. Now, if you did want, you could make this so that these parts are detachable, and then you can make, higher ones if you want to do it that way. But I'm just going to do one like 4 or 5-inch height bar to ollie over, and I think that's just going to be a practice bar just to have. So I'm not really going to worry about making it very customizable. So I'm just going to glue these parts together as is, and then I'll get back to you on that, okay? Okay, and now we got 2 of these done. I added some end caps to make it look a little more pretty, but I mean, that's a completely optional step. But basically, we just have 2 nice little T's right now, like that. And at this point, I'm gonna add the elbows. I don't wanna glue them down because I wanna be able to adjust them so that it's level with the, perfectly straight, obviously, with the rod. And then, we can adjust a little bit as needed. But, so at this point, just go ahead and add your 2 elbows. Make sure it's perpendicular with the pipe fitting, so that the pipe fitting faces this way and the crossbar faces that way. And then at this point, the last step is to cut your crossbar to size. I'm doing 3.5 feet. That's about what I have on the ollie ladder. It's a good little size for when I'm sideways. 3.5 feet gives me plenty of clearance. So I'm going to cut my bar at 3.5 feet. So there's a crossbar, and last step. Put it to one end. Go to the other end. And there's an ollie bar. Super simple. This thing cost me like $12, and I got some extras that I didn't actually end up using. I was thinking about putting a support in the middle, so like it wouldn't bow, but it actually doesn't bow at all. It's sturdy plenty on its own, so you don't even need to add a middle support like I was thinking you might need to. So that takes out the need for a good 2 T-fittings, which is probably like $2. So this probably gonna cost you like $10 altogether, $9, $10. And I mean, it's a good little practice bar. You can make them as big or as small as you want. It's a great little option. If that ladder is a little bit too intimidating at first, like it was for me. But that's all for now. Till next time, you guys. Hello once again. I'm hoping for the last time this video. Just want to say, so things went a little bit differently than planned. I didn't really end up doing any animations, at least not this time. I think I was able to salvage it. If it seemed confusing at all, then I definitely can amend this video in the future. I think I probably will. I'm sure that later on, if I ever get better with these things, I'm not really going to be satisfied with it. But that being said, just want to go over kind of the next plan for maybe the next month. I'd want to try and be a lot more consistent with uploading, but I'm going to try for a month to just do like 100 ollies over the bar just for like a month straight and see if maybe I can get higher and higher. We'll see where I'm at from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. Sorry I didn't really have any footage of it in this time, but I'll try to have some by next month. In the meantime, you can expect a few different kind of videos. Like I got the Andy Anderson helmet. I want to do a review of that in the future. I do want to maybe try and work on a few freestyle tricks, maybe have a little kind of progress update on some of that. I got the Braille shoes, the Braille skateboarding shoes to try and do a review of, but you know, I want to skate those for a while. But apart from all that, I think that's the most plans I have at the moment. So, as I said before, whether it's a good day or a good night, toodle pip, I'll see you guys in the next one.